நீங்கள் பார்த்து கொண்டிருப்பது உங்கள் RSKV யூடியூப் சேனல்.
Income Tax Officers Exam 2014 Paper 3 Allied Laws. Which of the following statement is correct? In case of tenders, the contract becomes complete when a tender is accepted. B. A notice inviting tender does not create any legal obligation. A person inviting tenders may not accept any other tender. D. All of the above. Answer D. All of the above. An offer may be revoked by A. A notice or revocation by proposer. B. Non-acceptance in time. C. Failure to fulfill a condition precedent. D. All of the above. Answer D. All of the above. When does a private company become a public company? Where not less than 25% of the paid-up share capital of the private company having a share capital is held by one or more bodies corporate. A new partner can be admitted to a partnership firm with the consent of all the existing partners. Where a central or state public information officer intends to disclose any information or record which relates to or has been supplied by a third party and has been treated as confidential by the third party. Central or state public information officer shall, on receipt of request, give a written notice to such third party of the request and of the fact that the central or state public information officer intends to disclose the information or record or part thereof and invite the third party to make a submission in writing or orally regarding whether the information should be disclosed, and such submission of the third party shall be kept in view while taking a decision about disclosure of the information. The time limit for issue of the written notice is 5 days. A voidable contract is one which is enforceable at the option of one of the parties thereto. The maximum fine imposable on a witness who fails to appear before a court is rupees 500. The share capital of the company limited by shares shall be of both equity and preference share capital. Electronic gazette is another form of gazette notification. When consent to an agreement is caused by undue influence, then such contract is voidable at the option of the party whose consent was so obtained. In case of breach of contract, the party who suffers by such breach is entitled to compensation which naturally and reasonably arose in usual course. A partnership firm cannot have more partners than 20. Which of the following is not an essential requirement of a valid contract as per the Indian Contract Act? Both parties should be Indian citizens. A and B agree not to outbid each other while submitting tenders and to share the benefits when the tender of one of them is accepted. This contract is void. The buyback of share under Section 77A bar 1 of the Companies Act may be from the existing security holders on proportionate basis, from open market, both A and B. D. None of the above. Answer D. None of the above. Sweat equity shares means equity shares issued by the company to its employees or directors at a discount or for consideration other than cash for providing know-how or making available rights in the nature of intellectual property, rights or value additions by whatever name called. If an information has been sought by an applicant in a particular format, then in such case the Central Public Information Officer CPIO will provide the information in the form in which it is sought unless it would disproportionately divert the resources of the CPIO or would be detrimental to the safety of preservation of the record in question. Court may require the judgment debtor to make an affidavit stating the particulars of his assets where a decree for the payment of money has remained unsatisfied for a period of 30 days 30. On dissolution of firm, the goodwill of a firm can be sold separately. Which of the following is one of the types of mortgage under the Transfer of Property Act? English mortgage. As per RTA Act, information can be sought directly by a citizen of India. A promise to obtain for B an employment in the public services and B promises to pay rupees 5 lakh to A for the same. The agreement is void. In the matter of life or liberty of a person, the time limit for providing the information under RTA Act 2005 is 48 hours. Which section of the Indian Contract Act requires that parties must be competent to contract? Section 10. As per Section 165 of the Companies Act, the boards of directors are required to forward the statutory report to every member of the company at least 21 days before the day on which the statutory meeting is held. A gift may be suspended or revoked when the gift is made under coercion, undue influence, fraud, etc. B. Revocation by an agreement between the donor and the donee. Both A and B are correct. In case of any emergency, the acts done by a partner bind the firm. The communication of acceptance is complete as against the acceptor when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. If the public information officer under the RTA Act intends to disclose confidential information relating to a third party, then a written notice is to be issued to such third party within 5 days from receipt of application. Section 6, 7 and 8 of the Information Technology Act 2000 dash right to insist that a document should be accepted in electronic form. Do not confer. A contract of life insurance, the performance of which depends upon a future event, falls under the category of contingent contract. Section 52 of Transfer of Property Act 1882 imposes a prohibition on transfer or otherwise dealing of any property during the pendency of a suit, provided the conditions laid down in section are satisfied. The statement is true. Information Technology Act 2000 was introduced on basis of recommendation of Model Law Resolution passed by United Nations General Assembly. Hindu law is not applicable to Parsis. As per the Civil Procedure Code 1908, to entertain review application is the discretionary power of. When did RTA Act come into force in India? October 2005. The expression signed under the Chapter 3 of Information Technology Act 2000 means affixing of handwritten signature or any mark on any document. Which of the following is not an essential ingredient to constitute a partnership? Contribution of capital. As per the Civil Procedure Code 1908, no application for review shall be entertained unless it is filed within dash from the date of receipt of copy of the order sought to be reviewed, 30 days, 30. A minor can be admitted only to the benefits of the partnership. A enters into a contract with B through B's fraud. A can set aside the contract and recover damages. Which one of the following is not necessary for a contract? Reasonable terms and conditions. Under Order 47 Rule 1 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908, any aggrieved person may apply for a review of judgment passed by court to the to the court which passed the decree or made the order. A contract may be discharged by A, by the performance of the contract, B, by the impossibility of performance or frustration, C, by the breach of contract, D, all of the above. Answer D, all of the above. A partnership firm can be formed by with a minimum share capital of amount not fixed. A gives a residential flat to his daughter. He can do so only by a registered instrument signed by him. Which of the following statement is correct? Any person can be summoned to produce a document. A person summoned to produce a document need produce it personally. Any person present in the court can be required produce any document in his possession. All of the above. Answer all of the above. A promise to pay rupees 2 lakh to B. A promises to pay rupees 2 lakh to B if B's house destroyed by earthquake. This is a contingent contract. The gift of future property is void. In terms of Rule 1 of 1 Order 5 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908, in case of failure to file the written statement of his defense within the prescribed initial time, the defendant can be allowed to file the same on such other day specified by the court, which shall not be later than dash from the date of service of summons on the defendant. 90 days, 90. Wherein any suit the defendant is absent from his residence and there is no likelihood of his being found at the residence within a reasonable time, the service of summons can be made on any adult member of the family, whether male or female, residing with the defendant. Under Rule 1, Order 16 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, the court shall appoint a date for presentation of list of witnesses by the parties, which shall not be later than dash after the date on which the issues are settled. 15 days, 1-5. Implied authority in a partnership firm does not permit withdrawing a suit or proceedings filed on the firm's behalf. Under Hindu Succession Act 1956, who amongst the following is not a class 1 heir, father? The following are some postulates as sine qua non for basing a claim on Section 53A of the Transfer of Property Act. A. The contract should have been in writing and signed by the transferor. B. Transferee should have gotten possession of the immovable property covered by contract. C. Transferee should have done some act in furtherance of contract. All are relevant. Who may issue a commission? Court. Dash is a transfer of ownership in exchange for a price paid or promised or part paid and part promised. Sale. Security Procedure for Information Technology Act 2000 is with regard to commercial circumstances prevailing. Services of summons on a defendant who is a civil public officer or a servant of railway company or local authority is to be done on the defendant through the head of office in which he is employed. Section 100 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882 shall not apply to the charge of a transferee on the trust property for expenses properly incurred in the execution of the trust, and no charge shall be enforced against any property in the hands of a person to whom such property has been transferred for consideration and without notice of the charge. Which of the following is gift is valid? Gift made to an idol. A. Advertises in newspaper that whosoever finds and brings his last pet dog shall be paid a reward of rupees 5,000. This is a general offer. An appeal from CRAT's order is to be made to High Court within 60 days. 60. Which one of the following will make an agreement void? Mistake of fact by both the parties. Where a request for information under RTI Act is for both exempted and non-exempted information, then non-exempted information may be provided. A company may be wound up by the tribunal if the company has resolved that it may be wound up by the tribunal. Such a resolution must be made by a special resolution. A police station to deal with the cyber crimes is to be opened. Who can be the in charge of this police station? Deputy Superintendent of Police. Under the Right to Information Act, information which cannot normally be denied to which of the following shall not be denied to any person? Parliament. As per the Indian Contract Act 1972, an agreement non-enforceable by law is void. Which one of the following statement is wrong in context of transfer of property? He cannot transfer property to himself and one or more other living persons. Property liable to attachment and sale in execution of a decree is mentioned under dash of Civil Procedure Code, section 6060. Under Rule 4, Order 26 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908, any court may issue a commission for examination on interrogatories or otherwise of A. Any person resident beyond the local limits of its jurisdiction. B. Any person resident beyond the local limits before the date on which he is required to be examined in court. C. Any person in the service of the government who cannot, in the opinion of the court, attend without detriment to the public service. D. All of the above. Answer D. All of the above. Where information sought under the RTI Act relates to a third party, then no notice is to be given to such third party if A. It is not intended to disclose the information. B. Such information is already placed in public domain by third party. Both A and B are correct. Under the provisions of Section 6 of the Transfer of Property Act 1882, a right to future maintenance cannot be transferred. A partnership is deemed to be a partnership at will. A. Where no provision is made by contract between the partners for the duration of their partnership. B. Where no provision is made by contract between the partners for the determination of their profit. Both A and B are correct. Where summons have been issued by court to the defendant to file a written statement, the initial time allowed to file the same is dash from the date of service of summons. 30 days. 30. A civil court cannot issue commission in the following case: to seize account books in possession of any party. 78. As per Hindu law, which among the following is not the separate property of acquirer? Property in which male son of a co-partner acquires interest by birth. E-filing of income tax returns is permitted because Chapter 3 of Information Technology Act 2000 provides legal recognition for it. Which of the following statement is correct? A contingent contract is dependent on a future event for its performance. Further issue of capital may be done at any time after the expiry of 2 years from the formation of a company, or at any time after the expiry of 1 year from the allotment of shares in that company made for the first time after its formation, whichever is earlier. The expenses for the service of summons to the defendant have to be borne under Order 5 Rule 9 bar 3 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908 by the plaintiff. Under Order 47 Rule 1 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908, a judgment can be reviewed on the ground of a mistake of fact or error apparent on the face of the their code. Sorry, apparent on the face of the record. கொஞ்சம் print சரியில்லை. B. Discovery of new and important evidence not within the knowledge of the party concerned. Both A and B are correct. Within how many days from the day on which each of the annual general meeting referred to in section 166 is held, the company having a share capital shall prepare and file the return with the registrar. 60 days. Under Order 47, Rule 6 of 1 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908, where the application for a review is heard by more than one judge and the court is equally divided, the application shall be rejected. Which of the following normally exempt information would not continue to be exempt under RTA Act after the lapse of 20 years of the relevant incident? That which is received in confidence from foreign government. In terms of Rule 1 of Order 5 of the Civil Procedure Code 1908, no summons shall be issued when a defendant has appeared at the presentation of plaint and admitted the plaintiff claim. A leases his shop to B on 1/4/2010 for a period of 3 years at a rent of rupees 20,000 per month. On 22/7/2012, a mob sets fire to the building in which the shop is located, due to which the roof of the shop collapses. In this case, the lease will be void at the option of B. Which of the following information cannot be denied to a citizen under RTA Act 2005? Cabinet papers including records of deliberations of the Council of Ministers, secretaries and other officers after the decision has been taken and the matter is complete or over. The following is not a ground for divorce as per Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Employment at far-off places. Under RTA Act 2005, where the information is to be provided on payment of any further fee towards cost of providing the information, the Central Public Information Officer shall send an intimation to the person making the request for information about the cost along with the calculation, and the period between dispatch of intimation and payment shall be excluded from the period of 30 days. 30. An electronic record shall be attributed to the originator if it was sent by the originator himself. Which of the following gives a correct definition of partnership? It is a relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. Mr. X has obtained a property on partition of HUF. He has a daughter but no son. Can the property be treated as HUF property? No. A supplies to B a lunatic with necessaries suitable to his condition in life. A is entitled to be reimbursed from B of property. Where the request for information under the RTA Act is made without specifying any reason for such request, then the public authority should process the request. A promises B to drop a prosecution which he has initiated against B for the robbery, and B promises to return the goods taken by him to A. The agreement is void. A offers to sell his car to B for rupees 4 lakh. B offers to purchase it for rupees 3 lakh. Reply of B is counter offer. Who among the following is not entitled to demand and sue for Partition of co-partnership property. Wife of co-partners. The livestock or agricultural implements which were attached but cannot be conveniently removed will be left in the custody of any respectable person.